Now back to the Brian Zimmerman Show. Here's Brian.
Hi, everyone. Brian here at your side for another episode of the Brian Zimmerman Show. Wanted to talk to you today about this guy, the guitar. Now, for those of you who know that I am an avid guitar player, and I wanted to talk today about a little bit what the guitar means to me. The guitar is more than a hobby to me. It's my livelihood. It's my identity. It's a way of life. It's my voice. It's the voice I never had, especially in school and growing up, where I got picked up a lot at school and wasn't popular. And the guitar was all I pretty much had at the end of the day that actually I could turn to and get happiness and joy out of. And especially if I had I saw a girl or something that I wanted to go out with or something and got rejected or something, the guitar never rejected me. I was never rejected by the guitar. And those, again, who saw my interview with Matt Valley on the Rock and Roll Research podcast, I talk about the day that my life changed was the day that my grandfather put his guitar in my hands. And I was about three and a half years old. And that guitar is this guitar right here. This exact guitar. This is a 1970 Gibson J-50. And you can see in the video, but there's a lot of scratches on there. As soon as he put that, I was sitting down and he laid the guitar across like this on my lap, handed me a pick, and I just strummed away on the guitar. And my life changed instantly. The sound of the strings, the sound of the guitar, and I was hooked. I immediately it was a life-changing event for me. And I remember getting later on a plastic David Cassidy guitar, which was my actual official first guitar in a sense, and it made me feel proud. It made you feel differently, like you were actually, it made you feel like you were somebody, the guitar, right? And it's something that you can strap on, and at the end of the day, you kind of, you become somebody different at the end of the day, right? It becomes, it transforms you. And I've never stopped playing the guitar since that day. When I was 3 years old, and took my first guitar lesson when I was in the second grade. It was a lady at our church. My mother went up to her one day after church and said, "Do you offer guitar lessons?" And I remember when I went there, I heard this guitar playing, real fast guitar playing, and I thought it was a record. I says, "Wow, I want to play as fast as that record." And she said, "No, that's not a record. That's my brother upstairs." And he was just shredding away, and I was impressed. And I remember she took me to a record store because she knew I was a big Beatles fan. And I remember her picking me up to thumb through the records, the albums. And she said, "Pick one out. I'll buy it for you." And I picked out the Beatles' "Hard Day's Night" album. And again, the Beatles too. Like I mentioned in another video, the British Invasion is one of my. I'm a big fan of that. The Beatles, the Who, Zeppelin, and I came from a background of just music always playing. My mother was into the Beatles, and there was always Beatle music playing. She was also into Barry Manilow and other stuff. So the music on that side was always in one ear. Then the other ear, my father was into the British Invasion. He had Sabbath, he was Zeppelin, he had Who records. And at one point, I remember when I was a little older, I asked him to take me to the store because I wanted to buy. I think it was Who's Next. And I think it was Who's Next in Zeppelin 3, because I remember hearing Immigrant Song that he always used to play over and over again. I says, "Dad, I want to get some of those records that you used to play." They weren't, it was a cassettes then. But so he bought me some of the cassettes in the mid to late 80s. And so I had that. My grandfather was into country music. The Willie Nelson, Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, that sort of vein. And my grandmother really wasn't. I don't think was into. I think she was into Frank Sinatra. So I really didn't really get any sort of musical influences from her. But again, always music playing. Whether my grandfather's playing the country stuff or playing the guitar. He was in a band with his two other brothers. They were called the Baldini Strings at one point. Um, and for me, I was lucky enough because, like I said, I knew the guitar was waiting for me at home. And especially when I was in school, and to this day, if I'm having a bad day, this is the solution. This is my drug that that makes me feel better again. And I'm thankful for that in a sense because my cousins, who are my grandfather's brothers, grandfathers, I was always curious of why they never picked up the guitar. Their grandfathers played the guitar, like my grandfather, and I couldn't understand why they weren't influenced or inherited into that area. But I was the only one out of those out of the cousins, and again, I'm thankful for that. And I won't date myself, but it's been a long time that I've been playing, and I don't dare to ever stop. And I think, like I said, the guitar is my is to use it as to express yourself. It's part of you. It's like a language that you speak, a whole different language. And then you combine that with the music. I write music, I write songs, and for me, I think at the end of the day, it's definitely been a life changer. And I also say that the guitar has also been a life saver. The guitar actually saved me back in the day especially when I was a teenager. I wrote songs like "Where Did I Go Wrong," and for all those people who follow my band, the Zims, um, and some of the old classic songs that we do. It was kind of a dark period growing up. As any teenager, all teenagers want to rule the world, right? They think they know it all, and I wanted to be like every other teenager. Wanted to be a rock star and rule the world. But obviously you grow up and you mature, and life takes on different. You go through different stages of life and that sort of thing. But again, throughout the years, I've never ever uh, this never let me down. The guitar never let me down. It was always there. It's always been there for me. And like I said, that's what it is. So that is all for this episode. I'm Brian. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.